Lagos State government has fully faith that an Alleviation be organized. The Honorable Commissioner for Commerce and Industry in Lagos State, Dr. B.J. St. Matthew Daniel, for his present welcome.
The military governor of Lagos State, I think I'm going to follow the footsteps of the Minister of Defense and Chief of Colonel Radirasaki. That's my press report. Honorable Commissioners here present, my Lord, the President of the Kenya and other branches of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, distinguished members of the Lagos State and Nigeria, President, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and honor to be in Lagos State. If the success it has attained in developing closer and better, this reception tonight, we are also using the occasion to recognize the private sector to symbolize the positive relationship to launch another of our promotional materials. But we assure you, you also launch it with hefty funds. The same ladies and gentlemen, I trust and hope you all have a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a nice contribution to the growth of industry in Lagos State, for us to enjoy the sumptuous dinner provided by the Lagos State government, I have the privilege to please proceed to the table. Two other service points, starting with the front row here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, there are two tables to this side, to my right. So those here can help themselves either to the one in the front or the one at the back.
Governor of Lagos State, Honored Brigadier to be Honorable Commissioners of Lagos State, the Chairman of Lagos Island Local Government, the immediate past President of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, distinguished members of the Coast of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And may she prosper. So enthusiastic about the commercial life of the state and following such a definite step, particularly at this time when the preeminence of Lagos as the capital of a great country has been removed, and it draws attention to the fact that it will be necessary for us to sustain its preeminence as the commercial heartthrob not only of Nigeria but of West Africa. And so when a few moments ago the commissioner said to me that I must support the launching of the investor's guide, he gave it to me, and I was pleasantly surprised. Surprised because it has gone straight to underline all those important aspects of doing business in any nation. And the first thing that I thought of is that this is a good sign of competition, because Lagos State is actually trying to compete with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. When you see a government that is not afraid of competition, then that government is worthy of support. They have marshaled in this publication very relevant facts. And I know that, particularly for me, the most important aspect has been one of taxation. So I said to myself that the Honorable Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, in the presence of the Governor, must declare tonight that whatever amount we are using to launch this worthwhile magazine must be declared to be tax-free. I remember when we had a big launching for the educational endowment of Lagos State some 2 years ago. We were all very enthusiastic about it, and we all generously. In fact, a previous president of our chamber, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, was the chairman of that educational committee. So this donation is free of tax, and I assured me that it will be free of tax. But until today, my letters have not been replied to. And the Commissioner for Finance is perhaps here. I made the point to him several times, but unfortunately, one of those areas where I have had no reply whatsoever. Tonight, we are really at the crossroads. Whilst we are saying goodbye to our preeminent position, we know that all businessmen in Lagos and also in Nigeria recognize that we must now really cooperate with the government of Lagos State to make a greater business progress of Lagos. There are many aspects of life which affect us and which we must deal with. One of them is the one of the new registration of companies. I think we would like to see a concerted effort made by the commercial people of Lagos, assisted by the government, that some easement should be provided for us, that we do not all have to rush to Abuja every time we need to file any return. Hope that once it is distributed, you will find that it is very worthwhile indeed. Mr. Governor, Commissioner, distinguished chiefs, my fellow members of the Lagos State of Commerce and of the commercial life of Lagos, I have great pleasure in launching this worthwhile publication, The Investor's Guide to Business in the Lagos State, published by the Lagos State government with the sum of 25,000 naira.
Distinguished fisheries expert, Charles Akitoye hails from the Akitoye royal family of Lagos. He attended the prestigious CNN Grammar School, Lagos. He holds a Bachelor of School. He holds a Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, and a PhD degree from the University of Lagos and Research. He also holds certificates in public administration from the University of Lagos, fishery management in Lord Mayor University in Philadelphia, and 1985. Prior to his appointment in November 1986 as the Commissioner for Agriculture and Cooperatives, he served as Chief Consultant, Downmax Company Limited, an agro-fisheries consultancy company. During his tenure as Commissioner in the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, he took giant strides in furthering the development of agriculture in its multifaceted forms. With the benefits of Dr. Akitoye's vision, dedication, and capacity for hard work, some innovative programs were initiated which have contributed significantly to the enhanced performance of the agriculture sector in Lagos State. Among such programs are the Schools Agricultural Program, which is designed to introduce school pupils, both primary and secondary, to the practice of agriculture. The commencement of the Lagos State Agricultural Development Program, which for many years had been postponed, largely because of efforts to reconcile the state government's position on the inclusion of the fisheries component with the traditional concept of the World Bank. The organization of the first ever Lake Fishing Festival as part of the Lagos State government's efforts to push fish production and enhance the development of existing scenic features for tourism purposes. The continuation of the agricultural input delivery scheme by which such fishermen, fiberglass boats, agrochemicals, veterinary drugs, and vaccines are supplied to farmers at affordable and convenient terms. Akitoye is the author of many publications, including the Taki's Food Formula in Lagos State, which is a unique and laudable effort at promoting agricultural development in Lagos State on a continuing basis. The book was launched on Monday. Military Governor, sir, distinguished state for the foregoing and other contributions to the development of agriculture in Lagos State.
Also, that the able, active, highly diligent action governor of Lagos State is showing the rare quality of the human nature, the quality of good understanding, the quality of high level of appreciation, the quality of motivation that is exceedingly very rare, that is in itself capable of motivating others to work towards excellence. I must initially express my delight and pleasure in hosting this dinner of the business community in Lagos State as a demonstration of the Lagos State government's appreciation of the business community's support and contribution towards successful formulation and implementation of the state government's economic policy and programs. hallmark of the Babangida administration is the deliberate effort of government to promote better interaction between government and the business community, culminating in the involvement of the organized service sector in the formulation and implementation of economic policies. I make bold to declare that we in Lagos State, by our enthusiastic adoption of this positive and forward-looking policy of this administration, have made the state and indeed the nation better for it. The positive attitude by Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, under the able and selfless leadership of its immediate past President, Alleviation, has demonstrated in its relationship with the Lagos State government is indicative of the positive relationship that the Lagos State government has with the Lagos State business community generally. The private sector not only participated actively and positively in the formulation of the state industrial policy, but I'm also delighted to declare that the same sense of cooperation is being exhibited by business in the implementation of the state industrial policy. In order to smoothen out the process of implementation of the policy, we established the Lagos State Standing Committee on Industrial Matters with representation from the private sector and relevant government agencies. The committee has justified its existence by its deliberation and recommendations which have been addressed. It is only fit and proper that the state government recognizes some of the many members of the Lagos State business community whose selfless service have contributed immensely to the many achievements of the state in the commercial and industrial sphere, and who symbolize the commitment of the Lagos State business community generally to the enhancement of the state's enviable role as the West African sub-region's major industrial and commercial center. Permit me to make special mention of the immediate past President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Alleviation. Alleviation has provided exemplary, selfless, and effective leadership for the organized service sector in Lagos State during his term of office, which just expired earlier in the month, as the President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nigeria's premier private sector investment promotion agency, and the oldest Chamber of Commerce and Industry in tropical Africa. During Alleviation's tenure as President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the 103 years old chamber witnessed among its best year, a major area of achievement which deserves special mention is the Chamber's successful effort at international investment promotion through the annual Lagos International Trade Fair, Nigeria's largest and most successful international trade fair. The fair has improved and grown from year to year, and I trust that it shall continue to excel and justify its existence. I would like to once again congratulate Alleviation and all others who were specially recognized tonight, and trust that they and the organization shall continue to render selfless service to Lagos State in the manner they have been doing so effectively. This administration, through the imaginative and responsive implementation of state industrial policy, has focused on the sustenance and maintenance of Lagos State roads as Nigeria's major industrial and commercial centers through the creation of the appropriate enabling environment for private sector investment in the state. This we are doing through the provision of required infrastructure such as roads and potable water, necessities such as the provision of land as concessionary rate for investment in the preferred sectors of agriculture, tourism, and manufacture for export, and the elimination of all unnecessary bureaucratic processes. In addition, this administration, as a matter of deliberate policy, made the integrated development of the state rural areas one of its major programs. This decision is informed by social and economic reasons for the development of rural areas will as well enhance the prospects of metropolitan Lagos, the nation's industrial heartland. We are already witnessing the impact that the construction of such road networks as the Igonla complex, the Gbagi Asheri and Kankan in the Ekwe and Badagry local government areas respectively are having on their immediate environment and the state generally. I'm glad to inform you that the first phase of the coastal road is ready for commissioning. This, I think, Mr. President will bring next week. This road of completion will provide easy access to the tremendous agriculture, fishing, and tourism resources of the state, which hitherto could not be exploited because of the terrain, which inhibits easy access. For the sector portion of the coastal sun program and the agricultural input program and the provision of the expression services, fishermen and farmers. On their various activities within the last 5 years. The books here are more or less a sort of a summary of all the activities. This will provide background information which the briefings will weigh based upon. The governor-elect, once again, I congratulate you on your election and wish you and your administration a very successful tenure in advance. You are warmly welcome. Thank you very much. This is Lagos State Education Policy 1988. We have the Federal Republic of Nigeria Official Gazette, 50, the tourism policy, the industrial policy of Lagos State government. It is the Adenova note, the one presented to the Vice President. And this is the Lagos State Performance Volume 1 to 3. And these are the activities of Lagos Task Force on World Bank assisted projects. They are in 3 volumes plus the audited account of the task force.
Very great pleasure to express the gratitude of the people of Lagos State to the military governor and his administration for a job well done. I know from my talk to people that our outgoing military governor is held in very high esteem. We shall never forget him. I thank you very much.
But I think I will reserve that question. I will reserve that answer until the last day. I'm going to make a sort of a farewell broadcast, and all those will be highlighted, and at the same time too, some of the constraints and the problems we inherited and how we have been able to solve it. All this will come out in the farewell broadcast. I think your question is very relevant, but you wait. You must try and work before you start running.
Another one is,
in governance generally, the decision must have to be taken, whether it's palatable or not. And I think the best honor for anybody is to take a decision, whether it is right or it is wrong, provided you can justify that action you have taken. Like I said, I've taken some actions, yes, but for the benefit of the people of the state. I've not had any report or so to me, but what I know is that the schools there are going to be rebuilt into the prototype type we have, because presently the one we have, if you go there, you discover it's more or less in the state of shambles, and we have already marked an area. And mark you, there are 2 schools in that small complex, and most of the children or the students you have in that in those 2 schools, some of them are from Ilasan. So what we have done now is to have another one to be put up in the Ilasan housing estate itself, a secondary school there, and another school to be put in that place. So we are only trying to separate the 2 schools because they are so choked up.
The resettlement committee was constituted on Friday, the 13th of July.
on Government and Physical Planning Office, with this notice to welcome you all, especially in our 1986, in just a brief examination of the Lagos State. Ladies and gentlemen, you will all agree with me that the state government has come a long way in its effort to manage industrial waste effectively in the state. As the chairman of the State Environmental Pollution Control Advisory Committee, I wish to place on record our gratitude to the federal government for its encouragement through the Federal Environmental Protection Agency in setting up the Lagos State Monitoring Laboratory by putting in place the reference laboratory in Lagos for prospecting the state's environmental activities.
The contract for the construction of the State Pollution Control Laboratory Complex was awarded to Mr. Mars Nigeria Limited Environmental Pollution Control Program. The total sum of 399 million has been estimated for the implementation of this environmental program between this year and the year 2000. This estimated sum will only cover the cost of facilities, collection, analysis, storage, and the condition of baseline data. Another 180 million is required for state investment programs of municipal sewage alone, while 360 million is estimated to be invested by industry from 5 treatment plants in the next 10 years. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to take this opportunity to appeal to the federal government and other international bodies that see the state government to put in place various aspects of the proposed 10-year environmental pollution control program. It is designed to provide lasting solutions to numerous environmental problems of the state by identifying responsibilities, work out modes of monitoring of our environment, and mobilizing the people to support the efforts of various bodies in keeping the environment clean. On its part, the state government attaches great importance to the control of pollution in the state, especially in the construction of pollution control laboratory complex, and is mindful of the benefits and services which the laboratory will provide to the public, industry, and government. These laboratory services especially are the provision of systematic monitoring and surveillance of public boreholes, public wells in schools, airports, fire hydrants, restaurants, theaters, petrol stations, residential houses, and give advice on applicable local forms of water supply treatment. It lies in commissioning the pollution control laboratory complex for the protection of our environment and to the glory of the Almighty. I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much.
None other than Mr. Jonathan.
Thank you. Yeah, let me know. Oh, yeah, the double starting finish. Where is the
assisted by doing officials of that day to deliver his address.
Of Central State System in Lagos Metropolis is then addressed along the following lines.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of the management, some 4 years ago,
Ministry of Information are not, but in that we are witnessing the laying of the foundations for a long time to come. In the industry shows that a corporate one vocational base by which a company will be developed in two phases. Phase one being the construction of the warehouse structure, and phase two being the development of the administrative block, which will be a four-story building. The total project cost will be about 6.5 million naira.
The Minnesota was launched by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Federal State of Nigeria, General Rhino, and the Minister of Nigeria, during his official visit to Lagos State. In order to establish the newspaper, the state government incorporated the company, Lagos Horizon Publishing Company, Nigeria Limited, with an unauthorized share capital of 7 million naira. At time of taking of the newspaper, the state existing machinery for information information, storage and retrieval was considered inadequate. In that area, the operational papers were left in main public, and some of the existing newspapers bothered much about them. In this area, while government activities were also inadequately responded to that. The Lagos State government set up the Lagos Horizon newspaper calling objective to enlighten and inform public of state, relevant, and enlighten the people of Lagos State, primarily, and Nigerian people. Since the establishment of the Lagos Horizon Publishing Company, staff operated from 5 different locations, namely Lagos State Minister of Information, Reverend Okuku Yesi, CRA Kenya, Lagos State Printing Corporation being used as production place, Airfare Limited, Director Publication Limited being used as production place, Rural Library, the name that is proposed situation, the staff on ideal and cannot enhance themselves. Accordingly, management of newspaper has in the last 2 years first accepted for the provision of necessary infrastructure to enable it to complete progress with the newspaper industry. The prospect of the ability of providing this infrastructure, especially with the business quota building complex, government awarded a 2 weeks ago. The supply and installation of voting press machines at the sum of 8 million naira, which will enable the Lagos State Printing Corporation to take over the printing of Lagos Horizon newspaper. The program will be delivered anytime. With regard to Lagos Horizon Printing Complex, the state government has decided to undertake development under Phase 1 comprises the warehouse structure in which the machines will be stored and other equipment production items, such as maintenance units, about 11.9 million naira on the operation of the company. This amount of money has been spent among other things written as the following: the multi-million naira construction center. This was also for calculation and precision of this work. Staff salary, procurement of permanent staff and maintenance, other operational expenses secured over the year. And this will come out. The Lagos Horizon Publishing Company, on its part, has to apply this system and good government investment and by the level of leadership and assistance in the industry. And also establish on that this publication and now be sold outside the state. In the coming year, with the delivery and installation of the voting press machine, the this war without the competition, war units, and those national and also without the society of the summary of them. The special is that of serving the Republic. As we gather here today to perform the foundation day ceremony on the 21st of the conference, I wish to commend the staff of the Lagos State Ministry of Information, Tourism and Culture, and Lagos Horizon Public Department for the giant strides in Lagos Horizon University have made in the national Lagos in the special Lagos. Today, my hope and belief that today's ceremony will usher in more productive years of Lagos Horizon Public Department. On this note, I have pleasure in laying the foundation stone of the Lagos Horizon Building Complex, the glory of God and the benefit of mankind. I thank you all for your attention.
Yes, sir. Of course. Very good. It's small. Good.
You are to invite the chairman of the governing council, Prince Ademola Adenijadele, to give you a formal welcome address. Please give him a applause. The announcement of Lagos with the great pleasure to welcome you all to this commissioning ceremony. This is the presentation of the national and state policies of the environment. Secondly, studying the size, elegance and color of the building would signify and put the aesthetic image of this authority.
Design and important art and business as justification of the good investment on the city. Since our concern of public, every effort has been made to ensure that the aesthetic glory of Lagos is restored. The result of our efforts will be constantly seen in the number of waste collections and disposal stock, equipment and containers so far received and put into public use by Lagos Waste Management Authority. The management of the board has been commercialized in order to be able to generate adequate funds to manage and maintain residents and also sustain operation efficiently and effectively. I therefore conclude and completed the schedule review in commission this new administrative block for the glory of God and the benefit of mankind. I thank you.
Close up and pull out. My DPS. Carol. I'm down going through. You go find though.
Civil servants. My name is Lekon Gumbawo, and I'm doubly happy to welcome the military government back to Lagos after his decoration. So I'll just go straight to the point. It is my privilege and the Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Adefemi Tyre.
The Lagos State Staff Housing Board, heads of parastatals of the Lagos State Public Service, Lady Alagbera Saki, and board scheme for homeowners of the housing units. This is what most of us are happy and proud to be part of. Indeed, the public servants in Lagos State, indeed, for succeeding generations of public service of Lagos State, genesis of the home ownership of a distinguished Olumide Okusanya, Speaker, clearly took up the challenge to apply the idea to the nagging problem confronting its loan beneficiaries and pursued it with a single-minded sense of purpose, whose result has made today's ceremony possible. Under the home ownership scheme, officers will have the opportunity to purchase housing units on owner-occupier basis. And
ladies and gentlemen, a milestone in the annals of the Lagos State Government, as it gives me great pleasure to be at this launching and foundation laying ceremony of the Lagos State Home Ownership Scheme, specially designed to provide ready-made, comfortable and modern accommodation for public servants in the state of owner-occupier basis. This novelty is because they offer possibilities of high cost of living, but should take the initiative of for public servants. Suitable perhaps, I should have that period to this time, the state government established a staff housing board in 1976, which has been granting loans to eligible officers to purchase landed properties and houses to build houses. In addition to this, efforts have been made by government through the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation to construct houses at affordable prices for needy public servants and the public at large. This later arrangement was however cut off by the prevailing economic conditions, resulting in the decrease in the production and importation of building materials. Thus, the only viable option left for the public servants was to rely on the staff housing loans, which in reality
will not fully meet the cost of construction. The issue of housing cannot therefore take a back position. Today's launching of the home ownership scheme is thus a further confirmation of the good intention of government or its officers. As part of the first phase of the new scheme, the Staff Housing Board is providing 50 units of terraced houses which will be constructed in 5 phases comprising 10 units at a time. Added to this new measure is the increase in the maximum building loan entitlement for public servants in Lagos State from 70,000 naira to 200,000 naira, as earlier mentioned by the SSG. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the honor and privilege to launch the new home ownership scheme of the Lagos State Public Service and simultaneously lay the foundation stone of the first phase of the scheme to the glory of God and the benefit of mankind. I thank you all for your attention. Community.
Forward. What we are trying to ensure is that each house will have its own territorial claim.
Housing Board to withdraw the first ballot. No wuru no magu. One is not specified.
The chairman of this occasion.
Particularly at the tail end of 1991, we feel it's appropriate to start with an opening prayer. So at this juncture, I will invite the eminent primate or Tegbade Senior to please come forward. Tegbade, open your word.
Ṣáájú ohun gbogbo, Olúwa ọba wa láláti fọpẹ́ fún. Ẹ gbà mí láyè nítorí pé òpin ọdún lélẹ́yìí, àti pé fún àwọn ẹni wa tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ tú wá sílẹ̀ nípa ti ara tí kì í ṣe nípa tẹ̀mí. Ìdí ẹ̀ ní a ó kọ́kọ́ kọrin kan náà wípé ọpẹ́ ni láti kọrin náà. Ti wá sọ pé ó jọ pẹ́ lọ níwájú Ọlọ́run ọ̀gá ògo. A máa sọ pé ọpẹ́ yẹ ó bàbá, ọpẹ́ yẹ ó ọmọ, Elédùmarè aṣọre kárí ayé, Elédùmarè aṣọre kárí ayé. Ó ṣe fọ́ba ó tún ṣe ìṣòye lọ́tọ̀, kò má gbàgbé àwa ọmọ rẹ̀ rárá rárá. Ọpẹ́ yẹ ó bàbá. Bákan náà, ẹ̀sìn méjì ni àti Muslim ni àti Christian ni Ọlọ́run náà là ń pè. A sọ pé wàlẹ̀ alhamdulilayi ìlà subhanallahi wàlẹ̀ alhamdulilayi ìlà alhamdulilayi. Nípa báyìí àwọn wàá gbàdúrà Olúwa Ọlọ́run ẹlẹ́dàá wa. Ọba adẹ́dàá ọba ṣẹ̀dá. Ọba tó mọ ohun gbogbo tó sì lè ṣe ohun gbogbo. Ọpẹ́ ló yí ọ́. Àfìdísílẹ̀ láì bẹ̀rẹ̀. Àtún á ti gbé alhamdulilayi nísìnyí. Olúwa Ọlọ́run ẹlẹ́dàá ni ọ́ ó dáwọ́ sí mọ ohun gbogbo. Àwọn èèyàn wọ̀nyí tó pè sáàárín wa tó jẹ́ pé à ń ṣe ohun tó yẹ wọ́n fún lónìí wọ́n hùwà tó tọ́ tó sì yẹ ni. Olú ẹlẹ́dàá sọ̀kalẹ̀ gbàdúrà fún wa. Gbogbo àwọn tí ó sì jẹ́ pé a tún jẹ́ pé àwa lébùrà lábẹ́ wọn náà Olú ẹlẹ́dàá gbàdúrà fún wa. Àwa fi wọ́n sí abẹ́ ìṣọ́ rẹ àwọn gbogbo la fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ má jẹ́ kí ṣùgbọ́n wà pé àwọn ẹni bí àṣetánì Olúwa lé wọn jìnnà. Gbogbo tá a máa ṣe jẹ́ kó máa lọ lẹ́sẹẹsẹ. Ìfẹ́ tẹ́ ní kó jẹ́ ká ṣe má jẹ́ àṣetẹ́ ara wa. Nígbà tí a bá parí ohun gbogbo tán Olú Ọlọ́run ẹlẹ́dàá àdílé bá rìn kó ṣe tiwa àrìnà kóre àbòyá ibi àwọn ẹni wa náà tí wọ́n sì máa jẹ́ pé wọ́n wà yí ara nípa ti ara tí kì í ṣe nípa ti ẹ̀mí ibi gbogbo tí wọ́n bá ń lọ sí níbi ọ̀wọ̀ fún Olúwa. Má dòdó tì wọ́n má jà ríra wa kò ṣe é jẹ́ ká máa ríra wa kẹ́ ká máa ríra wa yọ̀ ìmọ́lẹ̀ Ọlọ́run fún tàn yìí wa ká láti ẹ̀sìn Jésù Kristi Olúwa wa.
We thank His Eminence for the prayer. On this type of occasion, there was always someone who will direct the affairs. And if you look at the high table, you will see a gentleman who's in a prominent position. Without me telling you who he is the chairman of this occasion. I'm happy to introduce to you Mr. Ohel Odunaya, the Director of Personnel, Finance and Supply, as the chairman of this historic occasion. I hope you know him. So I got some ladies who like to know you. That's Mr. Odunaya. Then the next thing on the item is the introduction of guests. Because I don't think this sort of assignment will fall on my shoulder. Because the guests for today, they are people who are not, properly qualified to start. Because they are too far from me in terms of age, in terms of hierarchy, and in terms of achievement. Because they are men of timber and caliber. The first person that I would like to introduce to you is the man you know very well, the Honorary Commissioner for the Bureau of Information, Tourism and Culture, Mr. Adeshola Macaulay. I've been scratching my head, what am I to say about the Honorary Commissioner? Because when I came into the service a couple of years back, not too far, some 10 or 11 years, he was our chief. I was just an information officer. But Mr. Macaulay was not the type of chief or the type of senior officer that practices junior. He's very friendly, he's very amiable, he always advises you on whatever you do, and his doors are always open. You can easily go in to see him if you have any problem. So when in March this year, it was announced that Mr. Adeshola Macaulay will be the next Commissioner for Information. Most of us that were here then we are very, very happy, because that is a sign that there is Almighty. Because if I have to say the truth, probably this one would have been the Honorary Commissioner no longer than now, but because of some evil machinations of men, was not appointed then. But this hereafter, what is it will always be. So we are all very happy when it came in March 1991 that God has actually answered prayer, not only his prayer, the prayer of every one of us. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to present to you once again friendly and from Mr. Commissioner Adeshola Macaulay. Please give me a round of applause. I also like to use this opportunity to welcome Mrs. Adeshola Macaulay. When I saw a lady coming with the honorary commissioner. I have to confirm who the lady was. I know Mr. Kamakol is the type of men that the girl after other women after okay perhaps is more serious for that of thing. But the first time I met Madame, it was at night. I was sent that there was a speech we had to write. The honorary commissioner was read the speech. That was against us. I had to be in his house. At that time of the night. And really I don't like going to people's house at night, particularly when you know you won't meet the man. So when I got to the house, I met a young man who came to open the door to me. And then my name was a bit frightened. At night, seeing a young man you have never seen in your life. But the moment I introduced myself, I told I wanted to see the husband. He was full of smiles. She welcomed me very well, asked me what to take. You know, I was taking a shop of bread that night, but I was in a hurry to come back to my costume and schedule, so I could not wait. So you're only welcome now. So our next guest of honor is a man you all know very, very well. When I say I met him again when I came in 1980, don't think I'm too old. I'm not that old. It's only had the privilege of going to school very, very early. So when I came in as information officer again in 1980, Mr. Tunjolu was our permanent secretary then. But at that time, as I said last time, about a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at him from a distance. But I knew then he was a hard-working man, a highly principled man. He will not do anything because of friendship or because they are close to him. If he knows that thing is legal, it's not according to the GEO, because it's an establishment that he knows GEO from A to Z. And then, my time